Hey guys, welcome to the Crypto Winter Survivor. On this channel I will be reviewing projects that I either find very interesting or not at all. And today's review is going to be about Status, or SNT. Status is a social media platform built on the Ethereum blockchain. They offer truly private messaging, and this is something that is pretty hard to find nowadays. Most private messaging apps are not really that private. They have a Web3 browser, a wallet, and a teller network. With this Web3 browser you can access the decentralized apps that are built on the Ethereum network, and they really want to be a gateway to the Ethereum network. And most of these are already working products, so that's good, and they're still working on it every day. They have an active team of 60 team members, and they're still hiring, and they have a treasury that is good for the next 11 years to pay for all the expenses if they maintain the current budget. And you can see the reserves there. It totals to $165 million. Potential problems, well, the biggest issue is Ethereum scalability. If Ethereum is not going to succeed in scaling a lot more than they currently do, then that's going to be a big issue for Status, as if Ethereum is going to fail, then Status is probably going to fail as well. I don't know if they currently are looking to have other options if Ethereum would fail. But as of right now, they're pretty much linked to Ethereum, and they really want to be a gateway to Ethereum. So, of course, that's going to be an issue if Ethereum is not going to make it. But Ethereum is doing everything they can to scale up, so maybe this won't be that much of an issue. And then there's a slight issue with that the app is using a bit too much energy for my liking, but maybe this is going to be easy to fix, so it's not going to be the end of the world. I will give them a 9 for the project because I think it's really important. I think there are a lot of issues in social media that Status is going to fix, and I also think that we really need a gateway to the Ethereum network. Right now it's really hard for most people to actually access the Ethereum network, and Status is very much trying to fix that. The market, well, which markets are being challenged? Well, it's private messaging, social media in general, and wallets. Wallets are not going to be that big of a market. There's already so many wallets that are used for so many things. So I don't think they're going to be making a very big market cap just by having a nice wallet. But of course, social media is extremely big. Facebook is worth 800 billion. If they can even pick up a slight of this, then it's going to be huge for Status. Status is currently worth about 200 million, so it's 1/4,000th of Facebook's market cap. So yeah, if they can only pick up a small percentage of this, it's going to be huge. And does it need a blockchain? Well, yeah, it very much does. There are a lot of issues with current social media platforms, with censorship, with privacy issues. So Status is really trying to fix these problems, and it definitely does need a blockchain for this. And then you have the option to have content curation, in which you can actually reward people for making good posts or whatever. The details are still a bit in the middle here. They have explained it a lot better in their white paper, but a lot of it is still going to be decided later, basically. We still have to see how it works in practice. And then SNT is going to be used for voting as well. And currently it's not really possible for us to vote on where Facebook as a company is going, or as a website, or as a platform, however you want to call it. And Status wants their community to be able to say where Status as a platform is going. I will give them a 9 as well for the market, because I think we can really use a decentralized player in the social media market, and Status for me is the biggest challenger for this market. And besides that, the market caps are extremely high if they would succeed in their goals. Competition, well, you can think of most of these names yourself, I guess. Facebook probably being the most well-known one. Then you have WeChat in China that is doing a lot more like Status. They also have a payment platform built into their social media. So it's kind of what Status is aiming for. But then Status, of course, wants to be decentralized, and WeChat very much isn't. And all of these are not decentralized at all and are owned by big companies, and you have big privacy issues and censorship issues that Status is trying to fix. So there's a lot of big differences between Status and their challengers, but you know, they are very big, so it's hard to compete. Status doesn't really want to do just messaging or just social media. They want to be a Web3 browser as well, so you can access all the stuff on the Ethereum network. So it's definitely not going to be a next Facebook or a next WeChat. They're really trying something else, but still we have to look at some of the competition. Adoption, well, Facebook already has 1 billion users and Status has about 300,000, so there's a big difference right there. And of course, Status has a very, very long way to come even close to being a decent challenger to these players. I will give them a 3 for the competition, because it's just so hard to compete with something like Facebook. No one has been able to do it for the last 10 plus years, and it's going to be very hard for Status to pick up a decent part of the pie. It's also because if you have something that's already this big, then everyone you know uses these platforms, so you're not going to use something else. I personally have Status, but I literally don't know anyone personally that uses it as well, so it's kind of hard for me to actually send messages using Status if no one uses it. So it's gonna be a really long and hard process to ever compete with these things. So I will give them a very low rating for this. Tokenomics, they have a market cap of 215 million, a circulating supply of 4 billion, total supply of just under 7 billion. Which means there's 3 billion left in the reserves, and we see this here. They actually have $165 million in reserve, and about 70 million of this is actually in SNT tokens. And they only raised about 100 million in the ICO, which was one of the biggest ICOs, but I mean only compared to the current reserves, because they held a lot of their funds in cryptocurrencies and they actually went up in price. So they actually have now we are like 4 years in, and they actually have more in reserves than they ever had in the ICO. So that's a good sign. They can actually keep building the project a lot longer, and they can actually fund it for so long. And if Bitcoin and Ethereum and all that is gonna keep going up, and mostly SNT itself, of course, if it keeps going up, then they can fund the project for maybe 20 or 30 or 40 years, who knows. So Status is not really going anywhere soon. But I will still give them only a 6 for the Tokenomics, as there is so much tokens that are currently not in circulation, and if these 3 billion tokens ever come to the market, it's gonna cause some big inflation. So that's of course gonna be an issue, and I couldn't give them a higher rating for the Tokenomics for that. Token utility, which is one of the most important things for a crypto project, in my opinion. And it's also the most overlooked thing in crypto projects by crypto investors. You can think a project is amazing and great, and they have a great team and great marketing and great everything, but then they don't really integrate their token in it too well, and you actually can use the platform or the project perfectly well without actually holding the token. And if that's the case, then the investment in the token itself is going to be very bad, because even though it's an amazing project and platform or whatever it is, if you don't have any use for the token, there's not going to be demand for the token, and there's not going to be any value for the token in the long run. So it's going to be one of the most important things, in my opinion. And with Status, that's not really the case. They have a lot of utility for their token. You can use it for the curation of content. You can buy push notifications, sticker markets. You can buy usernames. They have this option, Tribute to Talk, which means you can set an amount for someone to pay to actually send you a message, which is kind of a fancy spam filter in a way. And some famous people or whatever could actually set a higher amount, and then fans or whatever could actually pay for a little chat with someone. I mean, there are things that can be done with this, basically. And then they have a teller network in which you can buy or sell stuff, and fees of this is going to be in SNT. You have to use SNT if you want to vote on where the project is going, and basically it's such a broad project that there's a lot more to think of that SNT is going to be used for in the future. So there's a lot of token utility for it. However, I only will give them a 7, which is definitely not high. It's not low, but it's not the highest either. I would want to see a lot more, and it's definitely possible that there will be coming a lot more. So maybe in 2 or 3 years I will make a new video and this rating is going to be higher. But as of now, I personally won't be too interested in buying some stickers and things like push notifications. Yeah, they're going to be important, and if Status will ever be as big as Facebook, it's going to be an enormous market. I mean, if every user only uses $1 worth of SNT tokens, and you have 1 billion people, you already have 1 billion market cap. So of course, if the numbers are really high, then even the smallest things are gonna generate a huge market cap. However, then they will have to have a huge number of users, and if it's only gonna be a gateway to the Ethereum network, and if it's not gonna become that mainstream, it's a bit too little utility for me personally right now. The marketing side, well, they have a very nice website on status.im. It's a very slick and professional website. I've seen a lot of them, of the crypto projects, and I would say Status has one of the best websites. Almost all the information is on their website. It looks really slick. Yeah, it's just one of the better ones I've seen. They have about 150,000 Twitter followers. They have a Reddit with 6,000 readers there. They have a YouTube channel where they actually post a lot of content. They only have 4,000 subscribers, so that's not that much, but they do post a lot of content, which is good. And they have this thing called Status TownHall, in which they do interviews with all of their staff, basically, and everyone from all the different positions of the company actually can say what they're working on right now. So that's really good. They give a lot of insight in their project. However, I personally find them quite boring and not really that professional, in my opinion. They could do it a lot better, I think. Besides that, I mean, it's interviews with developers, and developers generally are not the most interesting people to listen to. However, it's very good that they give such good insight on the project, so I will give them a plus for that. Exchanges, well, they're on Binance, it's the biggest exchange they are on. So basically, if you already have cryptos, it's really easy to get SNT as well. However, if you only have fiat, the mainstream people that are just getting into cryptos are not going to be able to access SNT. Like if you're only on Coinbase, for example, then it's not on that yet. So it's they're on a lot of exchanges, but not all of them, basically. And then YouTube creators, well, there's really a lot. There's really little exposure right now. I've looked it up, and in the last 2 years, it's almost no exposure on YouTube. So it's pretty bad, and I would say that they would probably be better off if they maybe even some paid interviews or whatever, but or just try to get on some bigger channels, because even though I'm definitely not a big fan of projects just focusing on marketing, I mean, a lot of projects out there are just trying to hype and just trying to push their marketing and not really building anything. And they honestly try to build a lot from what I can see, and don't do that much of marketing. But yeah, I mean, it's still going to be quite an important thing, especially if you want to build a social media platform that's going to need so many users to actually become successful. Then you should do a bit more of marketing, in my opinion. So I will give them a 6 for this, because they give good insight on their project, and they have a very nice website and all of this, but they should spread the word a bit more effectively. Looking at the price action as of recent, on the top left there's the 1 year graph, and then on the bottom right there is the all-time graph. And the all-time graph is pretty horrible to look at, just because it's kind of screwed up by a huge hype and huge pump to 50 cents plus just after the ICO, and then basically all of it got sold as well. So it's kind of hard to look at. But then the year one, it went from about 1 cent, which was pretty much the bottom, to about 7 cents, and then it dropped to about 5 cents. I would definitely not suggest buying it when it was 7 cents, because it went up almost. I think there was one day that it actually went up 120% or something like that. Which, if that happens, then it's never gonna be such a great time to buy, because it's always gonna drop a bit after that, and it did, and now it's at 5 cents. And if you do like status, it might be a decent time to buy right now, because it had its pullback that was definitely gonna come. So their rating overview, I gave them a 9 for the project, I gave them a 9 for marketing, a 3 for the competition, because there's just so much, a 6 for the token economics, a 7 for the utility of the token, and a 6 for marketing. This gets them to a 6.7, which is might seem a bit low, I don't know, but I would say anything above a 6 is definitely decent, and everything above a 7 or a 7.5 is going to be very good. I'm probably not going to give the highest ratings, because I want to be a bit more realistic and not cause too much hype or whatever. It's not really, I mean, if you want to look for hype, I mean, it's all of YouTube is already doing that, so I want to give it kind of a different go, and be a bit more realistic and a bit more conservative. And yeah, I would definitely say, I mean, it already came in the green part of the colors, so that should tell you that it's definitely not the lowest rating I'm gonna give on this channel. And yes, do whatever you want with your money, of course, but this will be my rating. Please check the show notes if you want to see some links to their white paper. Always read the white paper of the project. Check out their website. There's some other links to some social media of them as well. And there you can also either email me or comment to suggest a project that you would like to have reviewed. So thanks for watching and see you in the next one.